All right, hello and welcome. My name is Derek Martinez. I'm a solutions architect here at Amazon Web Services. And today you're going to learn a little bit about a customer that I work closely with, Bonterra. Specifically, you're going to get to meet Sandy Vaughn, the SaaS VP at Bonterra. Go ahead, Sandy, take it away.
Thanks, Derek. Good evening, gentlemen, ladies. Good to talk to you. And I'm going to take you through our journey. We're all in with AWS. It's quite fitting as we're in Vegas. So we put all our bets on this company. Yeah. So we are definitely all in. We signed a deal with them in October last year. And we're with these folks for the next 5 years. Thanks to that man sitting over there. He convinced us to do it. But let me just tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. I think the thing most people want to hear about is what mistakes we made during this journey. But we were a disparate set of different companies on different platforms doing different things. And here we are, just 10 short months later, all in with AWS. So as you can see here on the left-hand side, these are the companies that we had in our organization as of October last year. So Bonterra is an umbrella organization, and all of the non-profit companies that you see here were acquired over the last 4 or 5 years, and we brought them all together under this umbrella. So we had these different companies with different footprints. Some were in Heroku, some were on-prem, some were in Azure, some were already on AWS, and we had all these different organizations with all these different platforms, and we had a competitive procurement process with the AWS folks. And it was pretty competitive. We had 4 clients. We had 4 potential solutions to this. Leave it as it is, on-prem, and in this weird, wonderful mishmash of different hosting solutions. We could go to GCP, we could go to Azure, or we can go to AWS. And the reason we chose AWS, it wasn't just the fact that they were 60% of the cost of Azure. It wasn't just that fact. It was the fact that they believed heart and soul in our mission, our objective, our raison d'etre, our soul, to improve social giving. We want to get to 3% of GDP by 2033. Right now we're at 2.5%. 2.5% in the US is given to charitable causes, to social good. 2.5% of GDP. Our mission is by 2033 we'll make that 3%. So we've just got a small $600 billion gap to find. What's $600 billion between friends, eh? Not a big target. So as you can see here, one of the great things that we're getting from these folks is the Migration Assistance Program. We get dollars back for every dollar we migrate into this organization. We had a strategic alignment with these folks, and we were moving from an organization, moving from a landscape which was partly on-prem. What we had to absolutely make sure is that the clients we were doing the migrations for had exactly the same experience, if not better, on AWS. And I can wholeheartedly say every solution that AWS provided for us, everything that we've done with these folks has made the solution, has made Bonterra, has made the experience for our clients much, much, much better, much more simple to support, much more simple to execute, and much more robust to scale. So my colleagues and I, we had a lot of experience migrating different organizations to AWS. We had about 25 in our last organization that we migrated over the years from various platforms into a standard architecture. 25 different companies, and most of those were migrated between 60 and 90 days from the date of acquisition. 60 to 90 days. We made a lot of mistakes. A heck of a lot of mistakes. But seeing where we were with these different organizations here, these ones are already on AWS. Dead easy. These ones partly on Azure, partly in the data centers, some on Heroku. We even had a little bit on GCP. We needed to come up with a way that a bunch of us could then move all these organizations into AWS, keeping the SLAs, keeping the infrastructure for the clients in place, and making sure that they suffered no outages during this process whatsoever. And in the process, reducing costs by about 50%. So this is an aggressive plan. A lot of this had to be done in parallel. A lot of discovery here. And then we really kicked things off just before Christmas last year. And then as of the end of June this year, we'd done about 80% of the work. We migrated them into a target architecture, a standardized target architecture. There was a few anomalies here and there, but if you're going to do this, if you're going to migrate all these clients into a single standardized, simplified architecture, you better have a very good idea of what you're going to migrate them into. So most of this is a standard AWS stack. There are a few outliers such as GitHub, Cloudflare, New Relic, but predominantly we said, what can AWS give us? What solutions can they offer us such that everything is with these folks? We are all in with these folks. What can they offer us? And they came up with these amazing solutions for us. So we standardize the AWS architecture. We simplify and we document absolutely everything from these organizations that we're seeking to migrate from. Absolutely everything. But what went wrong? I think you folks are more interested in what went wrong than what went right. I think this first one's probably the best thing. If it looks simple, it probably isn't. As we do the migrations, one of the things that we discovered was, even if you get it right eventually, after the first migration, there's no guarantee you're going to learn your lessons the second time around. We forget. Things are different. We evolve. We standardize. We try the best we can. And then one of the second things which we learn is that how much you need leadership buy-in for these things. We had one particular client, the biggest client on the biggest application, said, we are not going to migrate to AWS before the US elections in November 2024. We are not going. And that's primarily because they had a pretty bad experience with previous migrations. But we came along, we demonstrated up into June this year that we were pretty good at this. We'd done it before, and be careful what you wish for, because you can stay on the data center, but on reflection, I think they wish they moved into AWS, and we're going to move them in Q1 next year. And the last piece, document the heck out of everything. Document, discover, document some more. Don't lift and shift. Understand what you're trying to move, and then move what you've documented and understood. If you blindly lift and shift, you will make mistakes. Things don't work the same in AWS as they did in the data centers, as in Heroku or on Azure. Things work differently. We need to understand how different they are, and you need to account for that. We've done a lot. Over the course of the last 8 months, 130 terabytes of data been migrated. 130 terabytes of data. 250 databases. And 8 products. How big do you think the team was? A team of 20 or 30, there was a team of 5 did this. A team of 5 individuals did all this work from start to finish over the course of about 8 months. But it wasn't just us that did this, it was in partnership with the folks from AWS. We could not have done this without the hotline to AWS, without a Slack message to those folks almost every day, without the help of the partnership, because it truly is a partnership. They're not just vendors for us. They're people that we rely on every single day. They're people that our clients rely on. And they're people that can get stuff done. Some of the key insights which I want you guys to just take away. Consolidated billing. We had all these different products coming into us. All of them had different billing. All of them had different billing. Why would you do that? Consolidate the billing right from the start. The development teams from these different organizations, they pretty much did what they want. They spin up instances, they spin up EBS volumes, they spin up whatever the heck they want, and, well, we just leave it there because, well, we're not paying the bills. For goodness sake, implement SCPs, implement control tower, control what these folks are spinning up, because they will cost you an arm and a leg. They will cost you a fortune, because it's not their money. The reference architecture we spoke about before, unless you standardize, unless you simplify, you will have chaos. It'll be difficult to support, it'll be difficult to grow, and it will cost even more than what it was when it was standalone. The folks that were here before we started this project, they didn't want to change. Why should they? It worked. And we know all the information, we know how these things work. We've been here doing this for 15, 20, 25 years for some of our products. We don't want to change. Well, I'm sorry, folks. This is a business imperative. You have to change. We are going to AWS, whether you like it or not. Technically, they found out more. Technically, they understood way more than they did before. And the cross-pollination of ideas, the training, the skills builder access which we've given these folks, the accreditations that they now have, they now come back and thank us. Thank you for moving AWS. Runbooks. We were pretty good at runbooks, first of all, but one of the things I need you guys to understand is it wasn't just writing runbooks for runbooks' sakes. What we're doing as of 2025, having done these migrations, we're looking to automate as much as we can. We're going to be making a mesh of Amazon Q, Bedrock, ingesting these runbooks so that we can just run automations using Amazon Q, using simple platform commands, using as much automation as we can to make ourselves as lazy as we can possibly be. That's the reason we write runbooks, to make our lives simple. And then finally, as you're doing this process, I can't tell you enough how much you need to do RCAs. Every severity 1, every severity 2, almost some of the severity 3s, please make sure you do an RCA. Because then we can ingest that in data models. Then we can use AI to make sure that that is built into our future models. Then we can automate that. Then we can make sure that it doesn't happen again. Implement the code, implement the fix, monitor it to make sure that you can see it doesn't recur. And finally, we've also got a non-profit about 5 miles away from here in Carson's Kitchen tonight. Starts at 7 p.m. I want to tell you all about what we're doing with AI, with grant making for non-profit organizations, how we're using Amazon Q, how we're using some of the AI models, and how we're making a difference to all of these non-profit organizations. One of the big things we're doing is we're saying, if you're a non-profit organization and you want to apply for a grant, tell us a little bit about what you're looking for. Tell us a little bit about your organization. And we will seek out organizations that give grants. And we will do your grant application for you in the blink of an eye. And we've got a 40% increase in success rates over what they were doing before. It's so simple. And it's so obvious in reflection. Why wouldn't you go down this route? So you're very welcome to come along, take a picture of the QR code there, and any questions, folks? Any questions?
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Let's give them a round of applause.